I'm intrigued by the right thing at the right time, because that's similar to a mantra that I have in my mind is right people making the right decisions at the right time and potentially with the right funding. So this ties into the more traditional approach that I've experienced of a an all-knowing, all-seeing leader who has this grand plan and believes they have the right steps to be able to execute that. And it's almost like a top-down rollout of some, perhaps a marketing campaign. But we know that the world's becoming more complex. No single person can hold truth, and their perception of reality may not actually be true. Customers and stakeholders may react in unexpected ways to a marketing campaign or some messaging. So rather than have that top-down deterministic approach, I believe that ties into having the right people, so those people closest to the customer, closest to the understanding of the wants and needs of a customer or stakeholder, and for them to make those decisions. But those decisions could be wrong. So perhaps how do we handle the fact that because it's so fast, how can those people close to the information or close to the customer kind of adapt to the possibility that their campaign may be wrong and they may need to change direction? Are there things in the agile space which support that, which may be different to the more traditional ways of designing and running a campaign?
Absolutely. So there's a lot in what you've just said. To start with the man with the plan, somebody with a grand plan. In the old days, that grand plan would have held. And I think marketers recognize this idea that grand plans are delivered to them and they go and make it happen. And we're fantastic at making stuff happen. We're busy. We really get things done. That's what we do as marketers. But now, as you say, we've got this complex world. The grand plan might be wrong. So just put grand plans to one side for a moment, because now we're in a world where we need to probe. We need to say, okay, that's opinion. Now what's the evidence? To get to the evidence, we need to get closer to the customer. And we need to test and learn. Okay, this is beginning to sound a little bit like agile software development now. We're working in small chunks. We're doing things in small ways that are not going to risk the business. By doing things in small chunks, you're lower risk. So you can afford to experiment. It's not going to make the company go bust. So you try and deliver something small to the customer, some kind of messaging perhaps, test an idea on social media, lots of avenues open to us. Find out whether your grand idea is going to fly and move it forward in increments. Again, sounding a bit like software development, but this works well for us. We can move it forward in small chunks that allow us to learn as we go. Now, all marketers know that you need to address your audience in the voice of the customer. We need to get the language that they're going to recognize, not company corporate language, but their language. We need to get the tone right. It needs to really resonate for them in their world from their perspective. We're wanting to step into the customer's shoes. So to do that, we need to slightly juggle the organization so that we're getting much closer connectivity between departments and functions, so that we're sort of looking over those walls that split us off into silos, so that salespeople and marketing people are working hand by hand and side by side, because at the end of the day, it may well be the salespeople more than the marketers that are having those real day-to-day conversations. And as marketers, we need to understand what's being said so that we can feed those ideas back into our campaigns.
That's really intriguing. It makes me think of end-to-end value and not just operating within our particular specialisms or our particular silos. And it's intriguing that I guess it's always been a challenge and an opportunity for sales and marketing to work together. To me, it seems like a clear advantage for those things to happen, but perhaps with our agile hat on now, we can actually really face into that with a new philosophy and a new approach. And I'm also wondering, I guess it may be more than marketing and sales. There could be areas of product development. So, for example, a sales team have an existing portfolio of offerings, products or services to the market, but they may be on their calls or their contacts with customers and clients saying, oh, you know what, there appears to be an emergent need that's unmet. And if we're in a competitive space, we want to kind of be the first to capitalize or explore that new opportunity. So we work with product development to see can we actually respond to this genuine customer need, and how can we promote and advertise and make this available and create that close connection with the customer to serve that need. And therefore, I guess we need marketing. So perhaps would you say it's like an end-to-end organizational value chain that we need to create?
Yeah, but even that expression, we need marketing, implies that marketing is something like over here, but separate. So if you actually start looking at an organization as cross-functional in itself, that everybody is working together to develop the organization, that good ideas can come from anywhere. You know, that's a great agile principle. So how do those ideas come from anywhere in the organization? Is it set up to encourage innovation, or is there a plan and an approved direction that is difficult to divert away from?